there, everyone. Welcome to Babylon Bullshit, the Nerdcast.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It really is.
It certainly is a show. I'm Lilith.
I'm Will. Hello.
This is a podcast about all things nerdy. Currently, we are just focusing on the Star Wars universe.
And this is going to take us forever to get through all of it because
there's so much. There's so much. Currently, we are just focusing on my favorite, Ahsoka. And we're talking about episodes 6 and 7.
Yes. Which
present finally, probably the best villain in all of Star Wars, in my personal opinion.
honestly one of the best villains in just all of
In general,
storytelling.
just in general.
Yeah.
Mithra Nurodo.
I'm impressed you can pronounce that because I cannot. Oh, you speak Portuguese. That's
That is his full name, Mithra Nurodo. It is
which he gratefully shortened to Thrawn for the rest of us.
because he knows that humans are stupid, and no one can pronounce it.
Gonna raise my hand for that one, but
Yeah, as you should. But it is because his family name from his home planet of the Chiss Ascendancy is the Myth family.
and they do the family name first.
Yes.
Which,
And then Thrawn. And then Nurodo is actually in addition to his name. So it's a whole thing. You can learn it from the Ascendancy trilogy written by Timothy Zahn.
which is amazing.
Which is incredible. I just got through that trilogy and then the next Thrawn trilogy, which is after he joins the Empire, which is also incredible.
Basically, if it's written by Timothy Zahn,
Read it.
yeah, I don't care what it is. It could be guide on how to properly use the bathroom. Like it's Timothy Zahn. Just read it.
But it's incredible. And honestly, those two trilogies, I got through them. And as I was getting through them, I do audiobooks because I have horrific ADHD and I get easily distracted. But as I was listening to them, the guy who was reading them, his name is Mark Thompson. He's an incredible voice actor and mimics Lars Mikkelsen so perfectly. And I was sitting there every time he would talk, I would just be like, Am I
I thought it was.
Am I attracted to this?
I really thought it was Lars Mikkelsen at first when I heard the
know,
audiobook.
yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, he did such a good job.
It's like, did they bring in Lars
And
Mikkelsen just to read Thrawn's lines?
Just to read Thrawn. But I just kept going, am I attracted to this? New kink unlocked?
You have admitted to having like a fear boner for
I have
for
a
Thrawn.
massive fear boner for Thrawn.
And I will say he is just a brilliant villain.
He's so brilliant. He's so intelligent. He's so smart. He is always 20 steps ahead of everybody. And he's also terrifying.
What Timothy Zahn did right, and I love this more than anything, Timothy Zahn created a military officer, a highly trained, highly intelligent military officer.
Mm-hmm.
And people who make it to those ranks of the military tend to be very focused, very intelligent, you would hope.
Well,
focused, intelligent.
maybe not in reality,
Yeah.
but in
but not prone to, emotional outbursts.
yes.
Generally because they're older and more experienced, and Thrawn is that. He is older,
Yes.
he's experienced, he is, and so it's the Michael Myers levels of calm.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you expect to turn around to see Thrawn slowly walking towards you.
Yeah, he's definitely not the guy that's going to run after you by
No.
any stretch.
No.
He doesn't raise his voice. There is nothing more terrifying than somebody who's angry who never raises their voice.
No, my God. Yeah, that's
He doesn't yell. He never screams.
And
He
also-
never yells.
Also,
He's
Thrawn
always
would
very...
never chase anyone. He would somehow manipulate you into going into a corridor that goes in a circle that brings you back to him, and you wouldn't know it till you're standing there going, "Fuck."
Yeah, exactly. Like he's so scary, and I am just terrified and aroused. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, and it made me go, do I need to go back to therapy?
I mean, yes, but maybe not just for that.
Well, yeah, probably for several reasons. But also probably need to talk to a therapist about why I'm attracted to Thrawn.
Yeah, that couldn't hurt, honestly. I will say. Okay,
Although my therapist, I probably would be like, "Who the fuck is Thrawn?" I don't know who that is.
there needs to be a therapist network just for fandoms, like therapists who specialize.
Oh my God, that's what I need to do. I need to start. You know what? That's it. I'm gonna start a business for. Yeah, that's my business. That's what I need to do. I'm gonna quit my job because I want to quit it anyway. Because
You're
it sucks.
welcome.
I fucking hate my job. So that's gonna be my new business.
Everyone who hates your job, click subscribe so we know how many of you there are. Sorry.
It's gonna be more than
Yeah.
half of America.
Yeah, we're all of a sudden gonna have like 30 million subscribers.
God, we can only fucking hope. We can only hope. We're trying.
I will. I love that they built up Thrawn's return to Ahsoka over so many episodes because you knew like. I mean, that was Morgan's thing. She's trying to go find Thrawn because Morgan also has a big old fear boner for him. So,
dude, I loved when he showed up and she's standing there like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's just.
The look on her face. She was just like, yes. And I'm like, girl, same.
I heard a lot.
Girl, same. Like,
I heard a lot of people complain. Okay. Okay. First of all, this has to be addressed. Star Wars has a very toxic element to its fandom. It absolutely does. Yeah. Which is very annoying. But
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I make the mistake of occasionally, looking on social media at these, which you should never do.
I never do.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that.
I don't look at anything.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that.
I just avoid it.
But people were like, that doesn't look like Thrawn. I'm like, okay. All right. So let's take the real world production reason why. The Thrawn we saw originally, and I hate to break this to anyone, was
a cartoon.
Animated. Yes. Animated.
He was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down.
The Thrawn we're seeing now is an actual person. Like a
actual human being.
Yeah.
One.
Now,
two, he was also in exile for like what?
There's
20 years?
There's the canon reason. Thrawn is significantly older. He's aged. That's why he doesn't look like he did in Rebels, despite if we're ignoring the not animated part. He's aged.
He's also like in his 50s now. Shut up. Jesus.
But the personality was still there. Lars Mikkelsen plays him brilliantly.
Oh my God.
And he voiced Thrawn in Rebels.
Yeah.
So the voice is the first time he spoke, I was just like, okay, now I'm scared.
Yeah, no, I came.
It's terrifying.
I was like, oh God. Like I said, like as soon as when Morgan Elsbeth was standing there, like looking at him, like
drooling.
The look on her face, she was standing there like, and I'm like, girl, same.
Yeah, she's basically drooling.
Like Lars Mikkelsen is a very like unconventionally attractive man. It's the same as his brother. Like Mads is also very like unconventionally attractive.
They both just have gravitas. It's just this.
I would let both of them do very unspeakable things to me.
I mean, that list of people that you would let do unspeakable things to you is short.
It's very long.
Yeah.
The list of people I would not let touch me with a 10-foot pole is shorter.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I am familiar with you. I also love that Thrawn's Star Destroyer looks like dog shit. Like,
well, I mean,
of course
it makes
it does.
sense because the Chimera was taken by the Squales.
Yeah. Translation for anyone confused: Purgo.
Yes, the Purgo.
Yeah.
Which
they call them Squales. So
yes, one of the things that I loved about Rebels in general with Thrawn, two moments that Thrawn did not count on. The Bendu.
Yeah, because
he had them. He had them.
Well,
he was like, I got you now, bitches. And then the Bendu happens. He's like, not on my bingo card.
That's not Thrawn's fault. Who predicts the giant, force monster coming out of the forest?
Right.
That's not Thrawn's fault.
Right.
That I get.
He was like, well, that wasn't on my bingo card. And then He's like, gotcha now, bitches, on Lothal, and then Squales. He's
Again.
like, also not on my fucking bingo card.
And not his
What
fault.
the fuck? So, yeah.
And also not his fault because
No.
who thinks someone's going to weaponize space whales? Like,
Right, exactly. Like, he had them. That's the thing. Both of those times, he fucking had them.
Yep.
He had them. He was 10 steps ahead.
And
he had them.
And this is Thrawn's whole thing. And this is actually why I loved the moment. So, Morgan is drooling over Thrawn. And they finally have a conversation. And Morgan mentions Ahsoka and how Ahsoka is likely dead. We know not, obviously.
Oh, right.
And Thrawn doesn't really know who Ahsoka is. Maybe the name like
in
jogs.
Passing,
yeah, maybe the name jogs a little memory, but
he's like, yeah, kind of sounds.
And then he gets the information on her, and it's her master was General Anakin Skywalker.
He's like,
and he's like, okay, well that's a problem.
He's like, he just kind of goes, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no. That is an issue.
That's
because I knew him. I knew him both ways. I knew him as Anakin, and I knew him as Vader, and that is a problem.
Yeah,
because he is one of the only people who knew Vader was Anakin.
Him and I think Tarkin did as well. Yeah.
Tarkin figured it out.
Yeah.
In one of the Thrawn books, actually, it was Thrawn Alliances, maybe.
Yeah,
I think it was Thrawn Alliances. He actively is figuring it out.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite things because he's like,
if anyone's gonna figure out, it's gonna be Thrawn.
Of course.
Yeah.
But he's like on a mission with Vader. And it was the third one of that of the second trilogy. But he's like on a mission with Vader. And it was because he was on a mission to the same planet, to the same system where he initially met Anakin.
Yep.
And he's like, these tactics are very familiar. Wait a second.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, when we went to this planet before, and Vader's like, we've never been here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And he's just like, oh, right, yeah, no, of course, yeah.
That's actually
my bad.
That's actually one of the Star Wars storytelling moments that I really like. That Vader differentiates himself from Anakin. We're getting off topic a little bit, but this is interesting. Vader differentiates himself from Anakin
because he is a different person.
Yeah,
as far as
and so
he is.
Yeah, the rest of the galaxy doesn't know who Vader is,
no.
who he was originally, but Anakin becomes Vader and then refers to Anakin in the third person in the past tense.
Correct.
Which I think is a nice little storytelling kind of thing.
Yeah,
because he's changed so much that he's become a different person. And he acknowledges that, which is very cool.
Yes.
I did like the look on Thrawn's face when he, read the thing. Like
he's like,
Anakin's. Oh no.
There's a very funny meme that I saw of
this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
No, the Pikachu meme where Pikachu is like, oh. There was one.
This is an audio medium, but everyone who hears that noise is gonna be like, there it is.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, it's one, but it's a blue Pikachu, and it's like after Thrawn reads that Anakin Skywalker was Ahsoka's master. I'm like, yeah, no, that's exactly what he was like. Oh no,
which that does throw a wrinkle in basically anyone's plans.
Yeah,
because
here's my thing though. Wait until he finds out who brought down the Empire.
He's gonna be real pissed.
He's gonna go back and be like, who brought down what now?
Yeah.
Anakin's shot.
Well, he's also not gonna be surprised.
No, he's not gonna be surprised, but he's gonna be like, he had a fucking child. What the fuck do you mean he had a child?
Not just one.
He had two. There's two of them. There's two of them.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
There's two.
Shit. So we meet Thrawn, which is a brilliant scene.
Yes.
I love that his stormtroopers look like garbage.
Well, I mean, they're pretty much dead.
Yeah. Well, also, it does make a lot of sense. Like this, any equipment needs to be
brought them back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, like any equipment needs to be maintained. 20 years in exile on a planet where you don't have an infrastructure means shit's gonna start to look a little worn.
Right.
And they made it look worn.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Enoch with the gold mask. That's
who the fuck is that guy?
I don't know yet, but man, I'm loving that because he's clearly He's clearly Thrawn's lieutenant. He's
Yeah. He's a special one.
Yeah, and giving him that gold mask to indicate that is a great character point. I'm hoping this doesn't go in the way of Marok or Marok or whatever his name was. Because I don't remember his name because he was nothing.
He was literally
he showed up 3 times and then Ahsoka just fucking wasted his stupid ass and he kind of dusted and everyone went,
all we are is dust.
Yeah,
in the wind.
I don't know if you were intending this as a great Bill and Ted impression.
No, that was exactly what I was going for.
So I'm hoping he doesn't go that route, and we actually get a real character out of this. Because the other one just,
nothing happened.
He just kind of was like, lightsaber spinny, and then gone. And then, of course, the Night Mothers. And the Night Mothers brought us, can't really tell because of the makeup, but it added Claudia Black to the Star Wars universe. And she's basically the queen of sci-fi at this point.
Yeah.
She's been in everything.
Literally everything. I don't know of a single sci-fi thing that she hasn't been in.
I'm trying to think if she's been in Star Trek at all. I don't honestly know. For anyone who's unfamiliar with Claudia Black, go watch Farscape. It is a wonderful show and it is bananas. It's so ridiculous. On that same note, go watch Red Dwarf. That's a British show and it's very weird. It's fun.
I fucking love Red Dwarf.
But
so funny.
Claudia Black's one of the Night Mothers. She's a phenomenal actress. She's absolutely incredible. And the fact that the Night Mothers, this is, getting the story a little bit out of order, but they, I guess, promoted Morgan is the right word.
I guess that would be the right word.
Yeah. They green glow eater, made her eyes go all funny. And then gave her a cool sword, which comes up later, which we will get to in the next episode. But
she has not been in Star Trek.
That surprises me, honestly. That very much surprises me.
That surprises me as well.
But literally
she's been in just about everything else.
Her resume is just everything that's been sci-fi.
Just about everything else. But she has not been in a Star Trek.
That surprises me.
She was even in Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She did a voice in Diablo.
Yep.
Which is one of my all-time favorite video games ever to exist.
She's done everything.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
I did like that Morgan, okay, first of all, drools over Thrawn. And then this was a nice bit of writing, I think, is clearly Morgan has never met these Night Mothers before.
Correct.
Yet as soon as she sees them, instant deference.
Mm-hmm.
These are the Night Mothers. For anyone unfamiliar, the Night Sisters are the Dathomiri. Let's be clear about this. Not every Dathomiri is a Night Sister.
Correct.
This is like a sect within the Dathomiri.
Yes.
And
witches.
Yeah, this is the Dathomiri witches, which is basically just they just connect with the Force a different way, basically. And they're just somehow green.
It's magic. It's a different magic.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah. And adding them as Thrawn's allies, which I very much like that Thrawn treated them as allies. This is the other thing about Thrawn. He's terrifyingly polite.
Yes.
You never see him be openly, outwardly cruel or evil. He's terrifyingly polite.
So one thing that I saw that, oh my God. So I saw a lot of complaints about how Ahsoka was still very much, even though it was, Ahsoka was the main character because it was her show, it was still very anti-woman. Bullshit. It was not. It was very much the opposite. And it was because, hang on, this is what I read. It's very much, these are people who
they want a bitch for the sake of bitching.
Yeah, exactly. It's just people wanting to complain.
Yeah.
It's because they said Thrawn used the Night Sisters. No, he didn't. He recruited them and treated them as equals.
And let's be fair here. Thrawn is he's not recruiting them out of kindness. He needs them for something, but they also need him for something. And
to get them off of the planet.
Yeah. And Thrawn is nothing if he is not completely logical. So this is a partnership of convenience.
Correct.
And he knows that.
Correct.
When that partnership is no longer convenient or useful to him, he will abandon it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. He didn't use them and he didn't treat them as less than.
Yeah. He treats them, actually, he's very deferential to them. He's incredibly polite to them.
Yeah.
He doesn't give them orders. He asks them to do things.
Correct.
Which
Correct.
That's one of the things about Thrawn's character that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's extra terrifying because he's so infuriatingly polite.
Yeah. He always has been. Like, that's just the character.
Yeah, and it's brilliant character design.
Yeah, that's why. Like, it just drove me insane reading that review. I was like, "What the fuck are you? Did we watch the same show?"
Clearly not. I've read a lot of reviews where I'm like, you watched the first 45 seconds and then decided you knew what happened, didn't you?
It was because, like, I think that everybody who writes reviews, they always go based on the Bechdel test, and the Bechdel test is.
Often useful, not always.
Yes. And it's always, the Bechdel test is one of those two women in a scene talking about a man. What they misinterpret with the Bechdel test is those two women need to be talking about a man in a romantic sense.
Yep. That's the the thing.
If these two women are talking about a man and it's not romantic, that's not the Bechdel test.
The test no longer applies. Yeah.
So when Ahsoka and Sabine are talking about Ezra, that's not the Bechdel test. Because they're not talking about him in a romantic sense. They're talking about him as a friend, as family.
Yeah.
When Ahsoka is discussing Anakin to Sabine, it's not in a romantic sense. That was her fucking master.
It was also her,
That was her older brother.
She refers to him as her older brother in Clone Wars.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. That's not the Bechdel test. You fucking idiot.
Well,
stop using feminism as a fucking weapon. That's not what feminism is, you goddamn fucking idiot. As a militant feminist, you're making me look bad. Thank you.
Let's be fair. Anyone who's commenting on the internet about Star Wars,
if you're saying that Star Wars is anti-feminist, you're a fucking idiot and you don't know George Lucas.
Yeah.
And you don't know Dave Filoni.
Well, also, anyone who can watch the original, the original trilogy and go, there are no strong female characters, is not watching the original trilogy.
Leia took over her own rescue.
Yeah.
She took over her own fucking rescue. She went, I'll take that blaster now, thank you.
Yeah.
And fucking took over. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Padme Amidala was a perfect fucking shot.
There's actually this is actually a paraphrase of Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher described Leia as definitely the damsel who was never in distress.
No.
Because Leia was confident and capable and occasionally needed help, but that's not because she was a woman. It was because she just needed help.
Yeah. Return
it's
of the Jedi.
It's possible to need help and not be a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, when in return, when she ended up, becoming the slave, it wasn't because she was a woman. It was because the plan ended up getting fucked, and that's when Luke came in.
And then let's not forget that she also fucking killed Jabba the Hutt.
Exactly. So maybe shut the fuck up.
Also, she gets shot at the end of Return, and then manages to use Han. Of course, is freaking out over her, and then she manages to pull a blaster
out of her fucking coat and is just like, I got it,
and takes out a bunch of stormtroopers.
Shut up, shut all the way up. Stop saying that it's anti-feminist, that it's anti-woman. You're a fucking idiot. You are a goddamn fucking idiot.
Deep breath. There you go. In out.
Sorry. I'm just very tired. I'm very tired.
You also get really worked up about this even when you're not.
Yeah, because it's fucking stupid. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life.
But for anyone who's confused, basically the Bechdel test doesn't apply here because they are business partners. Thrawn and the Night Sisters are business partners.
None of it is romantic.
The only possible romantic thing there might be Morgan's like adoration of Thrawn, but that's I think
Which is fair.
Yeah, but I think that's more.
That's one-sided.
Yeah, that's more like devotion and less romantic.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a romantic thing. I think in her sense, it's definitely more devotion because she's like, I also want the Empire to come back.
Yeah.
And like it's definitely respect.
Yeah.
Out of everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily she wants a romantic involvement. Godzilla.
Thank you.
He sneezed, in case anyone is wondering.
That's what Lil says when someone sneezes.
Yes, because it's non-denominational. Because I am not qualified to say God bless you, and apparently Hail Satan is offensive.
Yeah, that's dumb. Hail Satan's funny.
I think it's hilarious. But so that's the only way that like I would say that it's potentially, but I don't think that it's necessarily romantic in any sense.
But Thrawn's partnership with the Night Mothers is clearly professional.
It's absolutely professional,
and there's mutual respect between them. Thrawn definitely respects their abilities.
Yeah, and and they respect his ability to lead. I don't think that they would have agreed to help him if they thought that he was using them in any way.
Yeah, and that's actually played out really well in Clone Wars when we first meet Savage Press, when we first meet Maul, when we first meet when we meet the Night Mothers in Clone Wars. They very much, as soon as they find out they're being used by Dooku, they flip the fuck out.
Oh yeah, like Asajj Ventress fucking
goes
loses
bananas.
It. She loses her shit. She's just like, fucking pardon me?
Yeah.
Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, she loses her goddamn mind.
She goes back to the Night Sisters and she's just like, so this is what happened. And they just go, what?
Yeah, they're...
Okay. Here's what we're not going to fucking do.
They're real mad about it.
And so they come up with a whole plan to get back at him. So
which,
they...
ends up not working, obviously. But
well, yeah, of course. Because
until Anakin shows up and fucking lops his head off, but
right. Well, do it. I had watched episode 3 the other night, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah. It is. It absolutely is. Also, it has possibly the greatest blooper of all time in it that isn't in the movie, clearly,
of course.
But it's a scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin step up to Dooku,
and he just.
And Anakin pulls his saber, Obi-Wan pulls his saber, just whacks Anakin in the nuts.
And poor Hayden is just like,
ow, damn.
I think my favorite blooper is on Mustafar when he's like burning up and he's just like climbing up and then he just goes, oh, I hate you. Like that's one of my favorite ones. It's just so funny. So cute.
One of my favorite. It's Anakin carrying Obi-Wan back to the elevator, and he runs to one of the doors, and nothing happens. Then you hear George Lucas off camera go, "Wrong door." Oh man, behind the scenes are great.
Yeah, that movie is an easy 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
with Empire being a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I said what I said.
Best Star Wars movie. I will accept either Jedi or Empire. My favorite is Empire.
My favorite is Empire.
I will never judge anyone who says their favorite is Jedi.
No.
Got it.
Return is easy 9.5.
Yeah. Great movie.
It's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
Empire is my favorite, with it being also the perfect movie.
Yeah. And we're gonna do a whole episode on the storytelling of Star Wars and like all of that.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's finish Ahsoka.
Yeah. So we've now made it to this planet whose name is escaping me. And it honestly does not matter because this is supposed to be...
It's a whole other galaxy.
Yeah. We've made it to this planet. We got Balin. We got Shin Hati. We got Thrawn and the Night Mothers and Morgan in their big old circle spaceship. Mm-hmm. They've brought Sabine with them. Mm-hmm. And then Thrawn does something interesting. Thrawn basically looks at Sabine and says, you are not useful to me in this moment. However, you very much could be, because you're here to find Ezra. And Ezra is possibly someone who could fuck up my plans. Mm-hmm. And Thrawn basically tells her, go find Ezra. Yeah, go try. If he's dead and you can't find him, then you're out of my hair, and I don't care about it.
Right.
But if you do find him, then I'll know where he is and where you are. And this is Thrawn's genius. He let Sabine go find Ezra.
Yep.
That's what she wanted, and he needed that to happen too.
Yep.
So off she goes.
Yep.
First of all, I love the giant horse wolf. Like,
oh my God, he's so cute.
super terrifying at first, but as it goes on, you're just like, no.
He's so cute.
Look at that big puppy.
He's just a big papa.
Also,
I wanted to give him belly rubs.
Also, and anyone can go back and watch this. At one point, the camera pans past, and in the background is one of the wolf doing the big stretch.
Oh, do a big stretch.
And I said out loud,
I did too.
Yeah, big stretch.
I did. I was watching it, and he did the big stretch. I was like, oh, big stretch.
Because if you see a dog do a big stretch and you do not say big stretch,
any animal,
yes,
you will get arrested.
Yeah, that is illegal. That is absolutely illegal. You must say it out loud.
It is the law.
Now, if you were somewhere where you can't say it out loud, you must have at least thought it.
Yes.
And smiled a little, because big stretch.
Because big stretch.
But, so off Ahsoka goes, or off Sabine goes. Of course, Balin is following. Balin and Shinhati are following her. Balin at this point is very much not interested in anything Thrawn's doing.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I'm still very unclear what his motive is.
So my guess, and this I very well could be wrong about this. As we find out towards the end, Balin's on that big ass statue, which does it's a Mortis statue. Like that is what it is. I think Balin's thing was trying to he's trying to have the same experience that Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka had with the avatars of the Force. That and something like that. This is not Balin's not after power or influence or control or anything like that.
No.
This is, I think, Balin's after a deeper force, deeper connection to the Force.
Yeah.
And it's because he's older and he just does not care about power.
I think he just wants to understand.
Yeah. This is understanding, this is connection for him. This is he doesn't care what Thrawn's going to do. He just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Thrawn is a means to an end for Balin. Shinhati's young. She's impulsive. She's, the idea of power and, control appeals to her because she's young.
Yeah.
But Balin's old. This is not what he wants. He wants understanding. And, rest in peace, Ray Park. Ray Park. Why did I say that? Ray Park is not dead.
Stevenson.
Thank you. Sorry, I was watching some behind the scenes earlier. It was Ray Park doing all of his mall stuff.
Wow.
My brain doesn't work. Shut up. For anyone who's confused, Ray Park is Maul. Yeah. I was watching a bunch of the behind the scenes from the end of Clone Wars where they brought back Ray Park to do the stunt work.
The fight.
Yeah, which, by the way, is fucking amazing.
Oh my God, so good.
But with Ray Stevenson having passed away, I'm still hoping we're going to get an end to that storyline because it could be really interesting.
I saw a thing with Dave Filoni. He did confirm that there is going to be a season 2.
Yes.
He is not sure what they're going to do with Balin yet.
Well, I don't know if this was intentional, but towards the end of Ahsoka, Balin's journey kind of departs from everything else.
Yeah.
So leaving that as kind of open, they could do a second season and then potentially come back to it later.
Sure. Yeah.
And that actually that could work.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping they'll wrap it up at some point, but it did open a lot of questions for you. Balin's a great character. And of course Ray Stevenson is a phenomenal performer.
Yeah, he was wonderful.
And so I'm really hoping we get more of that.
Me too.
I did very much enjoy Sabine's just utter frustration with the planet she was on and everything.
Oh my God, those little turtle guys were so cute though.
They were adorable, and I did love that when she found them and they're chattering at her and she's just looking super annoyed.
She's just like, I don't know what to do.
And 15 feet behind her is Ezra, just leaning on his house, just grinning, going like, I wonder how long it'll take her to do something back here.
She's like, I knew you would find
she
me.
literally traversed to another galaxy, and I'm 10 feet away, and she doesn't notice it. Like,
yeah. I did. I wept. I cried. I cried.
It was that reunion, and then Ahsoka's reunion with Ezra were the two where I was like, that's brilliant. Oh,
yeah. I was so happy, and that actor is so perfect.
He nailed it. He fucking nailed it.
He got that just the way he carries himself as Ezra is so good. Looks just like him. And I love Ezra with a beard.
Yeah.
It works.
Also, it makes sense. Like,
well, yeah, of course. When is he going to shave? How is he going to shave?
I mean, yeah. Like,
it's also been, 20 years? So, I mean, when he disappeared, he was like 17.
Yeah.
So, of course, in 20 years, he's going to be able to grow a beard.
Yeah. Like, I know there are those of us who could not grow a beard if you put a gun to your head.
But of course, he's Middle Eastern, so
yeah.
it would make sense that he can.
It would take me 20 years to grow what would be considered anything that could be called a beard. Like, what I grow at this point is like some fuzz. But the problem is it comes in blonde, so it just looks like facial pubes. Like, which is why I don't do it. Actually, during COVID, because we were stuck inside, I decided to give it a few months and just see what would happen because I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wasn't seeing anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And after 3 months, I was like, it looks like I just glued someone else's hair to my face. This is awful. Like, I'm not even doing this. Like, thank God no one saw this because it's terrible.
That's sad.
But I was like, no, just no.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, whatever my family genetics are, growing a beard was not in it.
Not in it.
No. Upside, I shave once every other week.
Well, that's good.
So it just saves some time.
I guess, yeah.
The downside, I do grow a mustache fairly quickly. But the problem is I grow what I've referred to as the reverse Hitler. So not in the middle, but on the sides. Which, I mean, I'm Jewish, so that makes sense. But yeah, but thankfully, Ezra did not have that problem and had the full beard.
Full beard.
And this I actually always wondered.
It looked good.
Ezra's, clearly, like olive-ish skin, black hair in
Middle Eastern, yeah.
it's in Rebels.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if they meant to make him Middle Eastern. I don't know if they
I'm pretty sure that was the intention.
But
especially with his mother having the head cover.
Yeah. And this is actually we'll get into this more with Star Wars storytelling later, but there's a lot of elements of various races and cultures in Star Wars.
Yes.
They're taken from real cultures here.
Correct.
So their reunion, anyone who expected, Sabine to like run to him and jump on him, that's not Sabine's character. That's not who Sabine is.
No, she's too cool.
That's just all. Yeah, she's just that's just
too cool and laid back.
That's also she's a Mandalorian. Like they don't get overwhelmed by emotion.
No,
they just don't.
No,
and that's.
I mean, easy to see in The Mandalorian. Like it was why it was such a big deal in the end of season 2 when he cried.
Yeah,
why that was so emotional and impactful.
Because the Mandalorians don't do that.
Exactly,
they are very stoic.
I wept like a fucking baby.
Yeah.
At the end of that season. For several reasons. Because he was saying goodbye to Daddy.
Yeah. And also, Grogu's, phenomenal. So, I love that we're, this will never stop entertaining me. Grogu is clearly a puppet. Yet we refer to Grogu as a person.
No, he is real.
It's the same thing we did with Yoda. Yoda is clearly a puppet or animated.
Real. Real. It's just like when any actor acts with the Muppets.
Yeah. Yes.
At the end of a scene when like the actual puppeteer like puts them down and the actor's just like, oh. Wait.
Like, oh man,
that's right.
That's disconcerting.
I feel uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable now. Like the actors treat them like real people because they're acting to the puppet.
Yep.
So when the puppet is suddenly like not moving, they're
lifeless.
Like,
well, that's not good.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, they're real.
There's this is slightly off topic, but that's how before she passed away when she was 100 years old and, suffering from dementia, that's how my grandmother treated her Roomba.
I mean, that's how I would treat a Roomba.
Grandma would talk to it like it was a pet. No, she had dementia. Like
Incredible.
She was, yeah. But when it was just sitting in its charging station, not doing anything, she would go over and poke it with her cane to make sure it was okay. It's just so funny.
I want to get a Roomba. So I have 2 cats, and so there's litter everywhere because they have horrible litter etiquette.
Yeah.
They just throw litter around. It's very rude. So I want to get a Roomba so that like I don't have to constantly try to vacuum up all the fucking litter because I'll vacuum and then they're immediately back in the litter box and like throwing the litter out of the box. I'm like, we have discussed this and you keep doing it because you're fucking assholes because cats are assholes.
Yes.
So I want to get a Roomba, and I keep telling my partner I'm gonna put like an iPod on it and have DJ Roomba.
I actually love that
house.
idea.
Yeah.
Put some like Bluetooth speakers on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, DJ Roomba.
That
Which is absolutely from Parks and Rec, but still.
Sure. See, the downside is I did actually have what was it? Another brand Roomba, but we record this in my apartment. The downside of my apartment is it's all square.
Yeah.
And Roombas are round.
Yes.
Roombas have a hard time getting into corners.
Yes.
I had a Roomba for like a month. It's now the one my parents have. It wasn't terribly useful in here because because my apartment's not very big, so it had a hard time navigating around furniture. It would get stuck on an entertainment center. Like, I left the door open at one point because there were workmen here replacing my air conditioner, and my Roomba just drove itself out into the hallway down the stairs. Like, yeah. My poor Roomba tried to commit suicide, apparently. And yeah, so I gave it to my parents. And
It said, fuck this.
yeah, and they fucking love it, so good for them. And actually the turtle dudes, they're like, floaty houses thing. When I saw it, my first thought was somebody saw a Roomba, and that's
Yeah.
and that's how they designed it.
100%. I love those little turtle dudes.
They are
were so
super
cute.
cool.
They're so cute.
I also
them.
And we're going to get to this in the next episode because we're going to do a whole episode just the finale of Ahsoka. But I did love when they were trying to help Huyang fix the ship, and Huyang is just looking at him like, "Stop touching anything." Oh my god! just barely controlled rage. He's like, "Get off my damn ship!"
It was very sweet, though.
It was very cute. Yeah,
they were trying. It was cute.
So now Ezra has found, or Sabina's found Ezra, which wonderful reunion moment.
Yes.
And they have that long conversation riding in the turtle tank, I guess. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Because it gets attacked later, and they use it like a tank. So that conversation definitely had the potential to go in some oddly comedic places. Thankfully, they did not go there. Because it could have gone to some weird stuff. As evidenced by, anyone on social media who was trying to put in their own dialogue. I did love that when they finally, get to the big fight scene, they get attacked by Shin Hati and and her mercenaries. Mm-hmm. I love that Ezra didn't want a saber.
Yes.
And I like that he kept going, "Nope, that's yours.
The Force is my ally."
Yeah.
What the fuck? Shut up. Shut up, Ezra.
I mean, he's not the first person to say it because, like,
I know.
that was like one of Obi-Wan's big lines too.
I know, but like he said that, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just take a weapon, you idiot.
Yeah. Well, and then
you haven't fought
and
in
then
so long.
halfway through the fight, he takes a blaster off a
I know,
stormtrooper.
He's like, okay. I'm like, fucker.
Yeah. I did like that he told Sabine, no, that's your lightsaber. I gave it to you. You've changed it. That's yours. Like, and he builds his own later.
Yeah, he does.
I did love that. So, that fight ends. Ahsoka shows up. I do like she asked Huyang to drop her off, and Huyang basically makes a noise that's like, "God, not this again."
And he's just like, well, that's a lovely reunion. I guess.
I hope I live long enough to enjoy it.
Right, yeah. Yep. Yep.
I love Hu Yang so much.
And it's definitely another moment of him just like, please fucking stay together this time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And that goes back to an early episode where
Yeah.
they're standing
Stay together.
and Hu Yang's standing there all sad. He says, I told them to stay together. He's not wrong. This is 10,000 years of training Jedi. If Hu Yang tells you to do something, you fucking do it.
Do it, bro. Just do it.
Also, Hu Yang has 4 arms. We've seen them come out.
Yes.
I was a little worried that they were gonna like General Grievous him and give him 4 sabers. I was very worried about that.
That would have been so funny, though.
It would have been hilarious, but it would have been pandering. So badly pandering. It would have been hysterical.
Dave's not like that.
Yeah.
Dave doesn't pander.
Yeah, Dave does not pander, which is great. Ahsoka's reaction to finding Ezra was what everyone wanted Sabine's to be. Ahsoka was happy. Like, yeah. That scene was just touching.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really have a soul, but if I did, I would have felt all warm and cuddly. So, as you've pointed out, I'm basically a vacuum where emotions go to die. So, yeah.
You're just a meat suit.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I'm good with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that. I very much did enjoy that Thrawn, and this is, again, Thrawn's genius, dispatching troops to engage Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka was not to kill Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka. That was to slow them down. That was it. Thrawn doesn't care about killing them. If he manages to escape, he's left them a galaxy away. And he's good. They're essentially dead because they cannot get to him, therefore their alive or dead status does not matter. That was to slow them down. I did like that they went back to the gunship design from Clone Wars. That was also used in the Jedi Survivor games. Mm-hmm. That was a wonderful little touch. And then we get to this honestly really. This will make more sense when we do our next episode and you actually do the finale. But we're basically now I'm looking at Morgan Elsbeth, and she's been changed by the Night Mothers. That's the end of Morgan's character. Morgan is done at that moment.
Right.
And that was very clear. And now we have Sabine and Ezra and Ahsoka reunited on this planet in a far-off galaxy. Balin is fucked off somewhere. He's just been like, he just looked at Shin Hati. He was like, you do you. I'm going to not be here. And just went away. Shin Hati, of course, was given an option to surrender and just ran off, which, it makes sense for that character. And Thrawn is being Thrawn. The enemy's way over there. I'm going to keep him distracted until I leave. Mm-hmm. Up until this point, Thrawn has talked several times about loading cargo onto his ship. Also, super glad they got the name of the ship right. Because that would have been a very irritating.
You really think Dave would have messed that up?
I don't for a second, but I think in some version of the script, someone probably wrote a different ship name, and Dave saw it and went, no, change it.
Dave helped write everything, so...
Sure.
He's not an idiot.
But he is one person. I'm relatively certain there are a bunch of writers helping him write this.
Yeah.
As a writer, I tell you, it takes fucking forever to fully develop a script. And your first several drafts are always fucking garbage.
True.
Yeah, I've actually gone back and read first drafts of my old scripts just to see how they were.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, God. What was I doing? What the fuck? Like, I read one of them and honestly tried to remember if I was drunk that night. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So bad. But we basically end episodes 6 and 7 with them reunited, them deciding, hey, we have to get back to Thrawn's ship.
Yeah,
Thrawn's going to leave.
Stop him. Yep.
We have to fucking stop him. And now there's 3 of us. Well, 4. Hu Yang counts. And I did like that Hu Yang basically resigned himself to the fact that if they get on Throne Star Destroyer and leave, he's stuck there. Mm-hmm. And Hu Yang didn't care.
No. He, I think, was more concerned that everyone was together.
Yeah.
Because I think he's gotten to a point that he's just like, look, I'm fucking thousands of years old.
If he has to take a few thousand years to like just fly the ship back, he doesn't care. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, there's currently no Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Like one is maybe being made.
Sort of. It's,
It's in the process.
Yeah, planning stages. Yeah.
But there's no Jedi for me to train currently.
Yeah.
To make lightsabers.
And
so
actually,
I'm good.
getting back to him making lightsabers, Ezra builds his own saber. And we have this wonderful little conversation moment about Ezra's master.
Yes.
And I did love that Hu Yang referred to him by his actual name. And was not surprised when Ezra told him, or was a little surprised when Ezra told him who his master was, and then basically thought about it for a second and went, oh, no, never mind. That actually makes sense.
You're right. He's like, oh, yeah, no,
Caleb?
fair.
Yeah, because he refers to him as Caleb when he talks about him.
Yeah, Caleb Doom.
And then he goes digging through and he finds the saber part that was same. It was that top piece with the handguard. That was a wonderful little touch.
Yes.
It was such a nice little callback to Kanan, and obviously Hu Yang would have interacted with Kanan at some point when Kanan built his first saber and would have remembered him. But it was just a nice little throwback to talk about a character that clearly is no longer in the show.
Yeah.
And I say no longer in the show because I consider this a continuation of Rebels. So this is the next season of Rebels, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
It was a nice little touch. It was also nice that Hu Yang was like, "Oh yeah, no, it makes sense."
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You're the same kind of weird. Yeah.
Same kind of weird.
Yeah.
That checks out. That checks out.
I would love to see a conversation between Hu Yang and Luke. And Hu Yang's looking at him going, you do realize that everything you're doing is not how Jedi train, right? And Luke going, yeah, but I had a Jedi Master for all of 45 minutes. So what would you want from me?
3 days.
Yeah. What do you want from me? Also, he was 100 years old and hadn't used the Force in a long time and basically just gave me a lightsaber and went, good luck, kid. You got this. I believe in... Okay.
You can do it, baby.
Yeah, he was more of a cheerleader than a trainer. I mean, he was.
You're not wrong.
Also, just random question, and this is the ADD coming back.
Yeah.
At the end of episode 4,
yeah,
these events have happened.
Yes.
Obi-Wan has died.
Yes.
Leia's planet has been blown up.
Yes.
And yet Leia's consoling Luke.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, that's because all of the men in Star Wars are whiny bitches.
Uh-huh. You're not wrong.
Tell me again, please, that Star Wars is anti-woman.
Yep. Luke lost a dude that he's sort of known of his whole life and really only kind of known for a few days. Leia loses her entire planet. Leia consoles Luke. What?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So now I have to ask. There was a moment towards the end of episode, I think it was 7, where I really thought for a second that they might actually kill a character. I thought it was going to be Hu Yang.
I would have thrown a fit. I would have thrown a goddamn fit.
Because Ahsoka's ship gets shot down.
I know. I would have thrown a goddamn fit.
I thought for a second maybe.
Been so fucking mad.
I did love that when they were trying to fix it. It's like hovering over the turtle people, and Sabine gets they get attacked by the TIE fighters. Sabine gets in the controls. The ship's basically being held up by Ezra and Ahsoka and Sabine. Or Ezra and Ahsoka and Sabine guns the engines and uses the wings to take out the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Crashes the ship, walks back to Ahsoka and goes, I got him. Just walks away.
She's like, I did it.
Like, you asked me to
I
take out
did
the TIE
it,
fighters.
kinda.
I took out the TIE fighters. You were not specific as to how.
Right, yeah.
It was a very Sabine moment that I very much enjoyed.
Yes.
It was very nice.
Yes. It was good.
At the end of 7, we very much had the, okay, what the fuck is going on here now? And obviously this is not the end of episode 7 because we're stopping right into the finale because the finale takes, there's a lot to the finale.
So much happens in like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And so we're leaving the whole finale sequence for its own episode.
Yeah.
But basically we end at the point where they're like, okay, we have to get to Thrawn Star Destroyer. I don't think we can do the Purgle thing to get home again. Because
no.
How do you? Is there like a Purgle call or something? Like you have to, yeah, like you have to find a way to. How do you get them here? Yeah, just make whale noises. Yeah, or go find a contrabass because that's all a contrabass sounds like is just like a cartoon whale is talking to you.
Or find Dory.
Yeah,
Dory speaks whale.
Yeah, but it'd take forever to get her to say anything because she would keep forgetting. God, my poor niece. She pronounced escape till she was like 12 after that movie.
Look, I still say it that way just to be funny.
Yeah, but you're an adult. She thought that's how it was actually pronounced because she was real little for her son.
Oh.
Yeah, by the time she was 12, she stopped doing that, but it was very funny.
Oh, cute.
But they're, basically, okay, we have to get to Thrawn's damn ship because that's our way home.
Yes.
But Thrawn's not going to make that easy, clearly.
Of course not.
It's Thrawn. Like, yeah. He's not going to put out a charcuterie board for them and welcome aboard my ship. Like, no,
a charcuterie board?
Yeah. Which is basically just adult Lunchables. That's what it is.
And it's fucking delicious.
Yeah. But we had
Lunchables. Because it's meat and cheese.
We had Lunchables as little kids, and then as adults, someone went, yeah, but what if you make them real fancy, put them on wood?
Real fancy, and then include wine.
Yeah. And someone went, that's fucking genius. And the whole world went, yes! And now we have charcuterie boards, which I'm cool with because, meat and cheese.
Meat and cheese. I see nothing wrong with any of it.
Unless you're, a vegan who's lactose intolerant, in which case...
I'm sorry for your loss.
You eat, I guess, nuts? And that's...
That sounds terrible.
Yes, it's awful. And now I want a steak. Damn it.
I mean, we should probably eat something after this episode.
We should.
I'm not ordering you steak, though.
No. Womp. Oh, well.
I don't make that kind of money.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, sorry.
Actually, coming into the finale, I was very curious how they were going to do, because the ship shot down. Mm-hmm. Hu Yang's trying to fix it, is being his usual Hu Yang self of, I might get this done. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Ezra now has a saber.
Yes.
Which, of course.
Of course.
I did like they made the saber blue.
Yes.
So for anyone who's not familiar, the saber color does kind of reflect the Jedi's personality.
There are reasons behind the colors. Yes.
Yeah. And so Sabine having a blue saber, which is generally blue is generally the color of more Jedi combatants.
Yes.
Makes sense. She's a Mandalorian. Combat's what she does. Mm-hmm. Ezra, I think, if they'd made his saber green, that would tell us a lot about Ezra as a new character.
Yes.
Maybe someone who's a little more controlled.
Which he's not.
He's not, yeah. But it would have been kind of a nod to this is how we're going to do the character as going forward.
Yeah.
Also, Ezra's not fought with a saber in 20 years.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This saber is basically a pokey stick for him at this point. Because,
poke.
Yeah. That he doesn't know what to do with it. Kanan trained him pretty well, but he hasn't touched one in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna be a little rusty.
Yeah.
And, Thrawn's ready to leave. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine are ready to go stop him. Mm-hmm. Shin Hati has just wandered off. She's gone and found some mercenaries and just been like, I don't know what I'm stuck here. So cool, you all are work for me now. And then was like, it gets stabbed with my pointy stick. So like, yeah, Balin's just fucking wandered off. Like he's just like, I'm gonna go that way. Bye. Like, which I really did want. I did like the final confrontation between Balin and Ahsoka. Their last interaction. Balin's not. This is what I love about Balin's character. He's not evil. He's not a bad guy.
No,
he's
not.
I don't understand his motivations, but
I don't think he's actually bad.
no. And he kind of says that to Ahsoka in their two interactions. He's like, look, you like this is like, don't make me do this. He doesn't want to fight her.
Yeah.
And I think Ahsoka notices that and realizes that.
Yeah.
And in their fight, she's not trying to kill him.
Right.
She's trying to stop him.
Exactly.
She's trying to basically distract him long enough that she can then make a retreat.
Right, exactly.
Which is why Balin doesn't chase her when she does get away.
Yeah, precisely.
He just watches her leave, turns off his saber, and goes, okay.
He's like, goodbye.
Yeah. It's, and we talked about this earlier, but I really would like to dive deeper into Balin's character, even like Balin's backstory as a character.
I would love to see that. Yeah. Like even if we got that as like an animated
short, yeah. Or even like a 2-episode bonus bump, like 2-episode, like just we're gonna do 2 episodes about Balin, one leading up to Order 66, and one kind of like spanning what happened between Order 66 and him popping up in Ahsoka.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the character's super interesting.
Yeah.
And we're stopping at an awkward point in the episode, which is why we're trying to figure out how to get to an ending of this. But that whole lead up happened really fast. The episode didn't end and like, okay, well, we're gonna get them, and then credits, and then the finale happens in the next episode. But the next episode, they dove into some deep into some lore that really I was very surprised by. Which I like being surprised, and Dave is usually good for that. So
I mean, he is the keeper of the lore.
He is, and recently promoted to head to the creative head of.
Fuck yeah, he was.
Which it's about fucking time. Like, of course he was. And if his first act was to summarily execute someone who works at Disney, just saying, or probably more appropriately, just fire them. That would work too.
I'm sure if he could, he would.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think he has that.
There's also no way to undo the damage that this unnamed person has already done.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think that the only thing that he could potentially do is to put a stop to a certain movie that was recently announced. Which I think he could do. He could do.
Yeah. And
which I will say, the actress that is supposed to star in said movie has said, well, it's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem very happy with it. So
you know what? And this is something that I have said several times. The cast that appeared in those movies, I very much enjoy as performers.
Oh, they're
all
great.
Wonderfully talented.
Yeah.
And they did a great job with what they were given.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the cast. ILM
No, not at all.
The visual effects were stunning. ILM, of course, outdid themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything else was garbage. And I will say, hopefully, Dave can resurrect the correct universe in a format or two. And we will do whole episodes about this, because at some point, I'm going to basically get Lil drunk and make them watch episode 7, 8, and 9, and it's going to be hilarious and wildly vulgar, I would assume.
It's gonna essentially, I think we've mentioned it in a previous episode. It's basically gonna be like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Me just like trashing it.
Yeah.
And again, I am going to apologize ahead of time if you like those movies. It is nothing against any of you.
No.
It is nothing against the actors. I just did not like the writing. I did not like the storytelling. I think that they had a lot of missed opportunities to give a really good story.
Well, they also had a bunch of really great stories to draw from that they could have used.
Yeah,
and they
that's
chose to
the
ignore
problem.
them.
And the thing that I am so upset about is that they had so much source material. So much source material.
Just as an example, we know because
we know what happens.
yeah,
We know what happens afterwards.
because Jedi came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
And there are dozens of novels that are considered canon about
hundreds.
Yeah, about what happens to Luke after that.
Like, we know what happens.
About what happens to Luke and
And-
Han. Hey, by the way, Leia and Han did not have a son, or just a son. They had the Jedi twins.
They had the twins. They
That's-
had Jason and Jaina.
That's canon.
Yeah.
We've had that since the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd done that, and even if they'd combined some stories from canon, and
Yeah.
like built their own narrative
Yeah.
out of some stories like that, that would have been great too.
Like, it's the fact that,
Shit, Luke gets married at one point.
yeah, to Mara Jade. Like,
Yeah.
a woman who initially tried to kill him.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
And not just like
And very
in
diplomatic.
passing.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
she really fucking tried.
Yeah, and he very diplomatically convinced her not to. And
'Cause
then they
it's
started
Luke.
working together, and then they eventually fell in love, and then they got married, and then he created his Jedi Order, and then he not only, said that attachments were okay, but he actively encouraged attachments because he said that it actually compassion helped with the Force.
It's not attachments that lead to the dark side. It's fear of losing them.
Yes. It's I don't know. It's the fact that the person who runs the shit right now actually said that they had no source material to go off of. And literally said that out loud, and everyone went, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I'm surprised someone didn't back up a dump truck to their office and just dump all the books out. The
what are you
avalanche of
talking about?
novels.
What are you talking? Yes, you do. You have hundreds upon hundreds of things. What are you talking about?
That are considered canon by Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Like
by George Lucas himself.
Yeah.
He approved all of it. He worked very closely with Timothy Zahn, who now, because Dave Filoni is head of everything, head of creative, Timothy Zahn is now working very closely with Dave Filoni because he was like, "Oh, you're now in charge? Guess what, buddy?"
But Dave Filoni did exactly what this unnamed person, we're treating like Voldemort.
I mean, she basically is to me.
Did exactly what this unnamed person should have done, and used chunks of Timothy Zahn's story and characters to then create something adjacent but new.
Yeah.
Very easy to do.
Yeah.
Like
you can, and the fact of the matter is, those movies didn't even need to happen.
No.
And you didn't need to use the Skywalkers at all.
No.
You could have easily created a story that didn't include the
I'm
Skywalkers.
Ray Skywalker. Fuck right off.
Shut the fuck up. You didn't need to create any story with the Skywalkers. You could have made a whole new story that didn't include the Skywalkers. You could have made a movie that was with the Old Republic.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac phoned that in.
Because it's stupid.
Because he literally was like, somehow Palpatine returned.
Because it's stupid.
Because it's dumb.
Because now, the idea of someone trying to clone Palpatine.
That was an actual fucking story.
Yeah.
He cloned himself several fucking times, and Luke had to fight him 10 fucking times because he kept transferring his consciousness. And finally, Luke was like, "Oh my God, bro, fucking stop. Will you quit it? Will you fucking stop?"
But that's a great example of them attempting to use something from source material that this unnamed ridiculous person claimed they didn't have.
Yeah, and it's the fact that, she said they didn't have it, and then they created something else entirely different, and then tried to gender the Force, which fucking what? It's an energy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, the Force isn't female. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was-
your white feminism is showing, first of all. Because you want to sit there and claim that you want all this diversity, but then you still put two white people as your main characters. Stop it.
I
Stop it. You are a fucking embarrassment to feminism and to diversity. Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way up. You are a fucking embarrassment.
I don't know how that person still has a job.
I don't know, but you are a goddamn embarrassment to all of it. Just stop.
I would like to clarify, and Lil did mention this earlier, if you enjoyed 7, 8, and 9.
That's fine. I think that's great. As entertainment outside of everything,
And
as entertainment, I'm sure they're fun
and honestly,
they're great.
Everyone's enjoyment of any movie is entirely subjective. A movie I hate, someone else might love, and both of us are right.
Absolutely.
Like, if you love those movies, I'm super happy for you.
Yes.
Watch them 1,000 times a day. I'm very glad you like them.
And with that being said, you are entitled to liking those movies.
Yeah.
As much as you want to love them. I am all fucking for it. However, I am entitled to dislike them as much as I want. It does not make me a terrible person. It doesn't make me racist. It doesn't make me sexist. It doesn't make me stupid. It doesn't make me anything.
You're a terrible person for a bunch of other reasons.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. I'm a terrible person for a whole list of reasons that we are not going to name.
I don't think I have enough memory on my computer to record that.
No, we don't. But like, I am allowed to not like those movies, just like you are allowed to like them. And I will fight to the fucking death for you to like those movies. I think it's wonderful that you like them. I just don't.
Just as a fun example, I have a friend who's a big old Star Wars fan. Admittedly, she's more of a Star Trek fan, but she does like Star Wars.
Sure.
And anyone who's going to compare the two, apples and oranges. I mean,
they're two very different things.
But she hadn't watched the new movies or any of the or any Clone Wars or Rebels or anything.
Sure.
I tried to get her to watch Mandalorian. She really wasn't a fan. It wasn't storytelling as she enjoys it.
Yeah.
She loved the Grogu character. She thought that was really cool. Just wasn't her kind of storytelling, and that's totally fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have no problem with that. I have a friend who, was a very casual Star Wars fan. Really enjoyed 7, 8, and 9.
Good for them.
And then her husband was like, absolutely the fuck not. This is not what we do in this house. Got her to watch Clone Wars and Rebels. And then she went, oh, never mind. Never mind. 7, 8, and 9 are kind of not good. And Rey is not as well developed as I thought.
Yeah, and
because
honestly,
after watching Clone Wars and Rebels, she was like, oh, this is what a well-developed character is.
Yeah.
And
7, 8, 9 had a lot of potential. And
they did. And
they had a lot of potential.
That was why it was so frustrating for me. Because they had potential to be very good. But the problem was they were given to people who knew nothing about Star Wars.
Well, also people who don't, and this is what I think Dave Filoni has done so right about making Star Wars. Dave Filoni genuinely loves Star Wars.
Genuinely. He is a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. So when he makes it, this is not just a paycheck. This is not just a, next project, move on. He cares. And I think 7, 8, 9 were given to people who this was just a job for them. And no judgments. Honestly, I'm not even judging the writers because I don't actually know who they are.
I mean,
yeah, I don't actually know who wrote those scripts, but
one of them was the writer of Batman v Superman.
That'll do it.
So if that tells you anything,
but I think for them this was just another job.
It was,
and they got hired. They did the job to their employer's satisfaction.
Yep.
They moved on. And it wasn't written by someone who really cared.
Yep.
And that's why the shows have been so much better. They give a damn. They care.
The writers are Star Wars fans. The directors are Star Wars fans. The actors are Star Wars fans. Everyone involved in the shows are Star Wars fans.
Same thing with the new Star Trek shows.
Yeah.
The cast, the directors, which has been mainly Jonathan Frakes. Yeah.
Who is a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think he's directed more episodes than he's been in, which is
that
impressive.
would make sense, yeah.
But they give a shit.
Yeah,
they care.
Exactly.
And you can tell.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it comes through. It really does.
Yeah.
And that I think was my biggest gripe with 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Is that
no, and I agree.
And as I said, I have absolutely no issues with the performers. They did amazing jobs with the characters they were given. But they can only do as much as on the page. Like they aren't allowed to do more with that. The fact that Rey is an underdeveloped character is not Daisy Ridley's fault.
No, absolutely
by any
not.
means.
No.
And
no.
she did the best job anyone could with what she was given.
Yeah.
There was just so much potential, and the part that annoys me the most is there was so much potential for them to be so good.
Yeah.
And they just weren't.
The fact...
Shit, even Kylo Ren could have been a really cool character.
Yeah, and then he ended up being a Hot Topic reject. Like, it's so annoying because Adam Driver is so good.
Yeah.
Adam Driver is so good.
The only thing they did right with him is they made him... If he'd been questioning... They made him question his like motives and like what he's doing from the very start. So the fact that by the time he, changes his mind, you didn't have to build that from the beginning. I
think one thing that really annoyed me too was just like, no, Luke Skywalker would never have made an attempt on his nephew's life.
That would
ever.
Yeah.
Because there is a literal quote
that ruined the story entirely right
in
there.
one of the books, when Jason turns to the dark side, one of the first things Luke does is says, I am not going to give up on him. I am going to make sure he comes back.
Yeah.
In no way. The person that kills Jason is his fucking sister.
And because she's not given a choice.
Exactly.
She literally, she does not have a choice in that moment.
Like Luke does not make an attempt on his life. And you want to tell me that Luke Skywalker, the first thing he does instead of trying to bring Ben back is tries to kill him?
Yeah.
And then he runs away like a bitch and hides in a cave? Absolutely the fuck. That is not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That is not Luke Skywalker.
And that's where 7, 8, and 9 failed so much is that they didn't even try to maintain the original characters.
And then you want to tell me that he doesn't know who R2-D2 is?
Yeah.
He had to tell Rian Johnson, I would absolutely acknowledge R2. And Rian Johnson was like, oh, he knows R2-D2? That was my fucking droid, my guy.
That was my best friend.
Are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
What?
It's like someone...
You are proving that you have given these films to people who don't even know the product. What are you talking about?
And that's why they were... Yeah.
It was so incredibly frustrating.
And we are going to talk about all this when...
Sorry.
Yeah. We cannot get Lil on this topic. They just go bananas. And I understand. But we're going to do... we're going to do 3 whole episodes on each one of those movies. We're going to be drinking heavily during them because that's the only way to get through that. But
I'm gonna have my microphone across the room.
Yeah,
it's gonna be screaming.
That's going to be necessary.
Fuck.
Otherwise, anyone listening is going to have their speakers blown out.
Exactly.
So,
I'm trying to keep my volume down at
Yeah.
this point because I'm so irritated.
You do have the beginnings of like the vein going.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm so mad.
But our next episode on the Ahsoka series, we're going to dive into the finale, which covers the actual finale of the season really only takes about half an hour of actual time on screen, but so much happens that it has to get its own episode.
Yes.
And while we have you here, you will have noticed that this is an audio medium only. We are currently building a video recording setup. Trying to do it with as little money as possible because we both work full time and
I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Mind you. I hate my job.
And cameras are good cameras are not cheap.
Yes.
So we're keeping this as an audio medium only. It's going to be on YouTube basically, or YouTube and Spotify pretty much exclusively. And once we get video going, then we will do a special episode for our first actual video episode. We'll figure out topics for that later. We'll do a special one for it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And if you guys are finding us funny, you can find our other current podcast, which is called Hopeless and Bitter, where the two of us who are in no way experts in anything.
No.
Give you dating advice, which you take at your own risk. And we very much encourage you to listen to that one. Our next episode will be coming out in a week, and that will be the finale of Ahsoka. Then we're going to go on to everything else Star Wars, probably Clone Wars, Mandalorian.
Well, I don't know what we're going to talk about next.
There's a lot to choose from, and we're going to
Yeah.
cover all of it at some point. Just don't know what order we're going to do it in. So yeah,
We'll figure it out.
we're also going to dive into other fandoms. We're going to get into things like Star Trek, Battlestar, Doctor Who. Which, have you been watching the specials?
I haven't watched it yet. I've had no time. Yeah.
They're so good.
So
They're so good.
I have a full-time job, and I also work as a fitness instructor in the evenings. So like I have no time.
They're so good. They're so good.
So I'm gonna get there.
Give yourself time. You will.
I know, because I know my doctor is back. So
Everyone has their own doctor. Yep.
and David Tennant is mine.
Also voices Hu Yang.
Yes, and so David Tennant is everything to me.
But yeah,
Is
we're gonna
my everything.
we're gonna do Doctor Who. We're gonna do basically anything that we enjoy. Yeah, and those will be coming out in the next several months. Coming up next week, like I said, our final Ahsoka episode. And we hope you guys join us for that one as well.
Yeah, make sure you sign up for our Patreon. Give us your money so that we can upgrade all of our stuff.
Yep.
We are not keeping any of the money. We are using it to make this podcast better.
Yep. As much as we hate our jobs and they don't pay us enough, honestly, the money we make from our Patreon is going to be used for us to do things like get better equipment, go to cons,
Yes.
get merch out, that kind of thing. Because
Yes.
eventually, and this is kind of my pipe dream, I would love to do a live episode from San Diego Comic-Con. Very much would love to do that.
Maybe one day.
So if anyone wants to drop a big old bag of cash on my doorstep, that would be lovely.
Great. I'm working on finding a better job.
But I mean, hey, we have there's a few comic expos near us.
Yeah,
so,
we got a few.
yeah. Actually, I went to one recently where I got to meet Adam Savage, which was very cool.
Yeah.
And he is delightful.
Yeah.
He is a delightful human being. But you could. Our Patreon will be up and running soon. As it is now, it's just a placeholder page because we were going to wait till we have a video on there so you actually have something to buy.
Yeah.
Because it would be silly for you to buy what's free on YouTube and Spotify.
Right.
Just dumb. But eventually we will have stuff up there. Eventually it'll be merch.
Yep.
And we'll eventually be doing live episodes at cons. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening.
Oh, and follow our Instagram
Which will,
at Babble and BS.
there you go.
If you message it, you'll be talking to me.
That is better for you than talking to me. That's yeah. But yeah. So follow us on Instagram. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. It is the same name at Babylon Bullshit. This has been Babylon Bullshit. I've been Will.
I've been Lilith.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.